headlines Nigeria on Internet Television International. Welcome to the program, reaching you from our studios in Abuja. I am Grace Ukos and I have a quick summary of news making the headlines in our national dailies. Let's run through them. The first paper is Punch newspaper with the headline, Woman Dies on Delta Airlines Atlanta-Lagos Flight. Delta Airlines on Monday said a female passenger was found dead on one of its flights from Atlanta, United States to Lagos. Delta sources said the 57-year-old passenger was accompanied by her son when she died on Monday. Fuel scarcity looms in Edo. Fresh fuel scarcity loomed in Edo State on Monday as the Petroleum Tanker Drivers Unit of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers embarked on an indefinite strike over alleged harassment and extortion by members of the State Committee on Pipeline Vandalism. Court grants Akimbola 500 million naira bail, bars him from traveling abroad, that's seen in Nigerian Compass. After spending 33 days behind bars, temporary reprieve came yesterday the way of the former chief executive of Intercontinental Bank, Dr. Erastus Akimbola, as the Federal High Court in Lagos granted him bail in the sum of 500 million naira, while also stopping him from traveling out of the country until the conclusion of his trial. 60 billion naira Nollywood City to open in Abuja. Nigerian actors and actresses who are members of the nation's movie industry, popularly known as Nollywood, would soon become proud owners of houses in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And in next newspaper, we see no new bill on power. The Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Power and the Chairman Presidential Task Force on Power has clarified that the document on power which the presidency is sending to the National Assembly for approval only contains names of nominees to constitute the new board of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. And in politics, next newspaper has the headline, IBB camp dismisses Jonathan's 2011 chances. The campaign team of former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has declared that he will be the People's Democratic Party candidate for the 2011 general elections. They dismissed reports that alleged that governors from the southwest had declared their support for President Goodluck Jonathan. Presidential election holds January 15. Elections to the office of the president will hold January 15 next year. The date is historical because it was on the same date that the military truncated the nation's first democratic experiment after the 1960 independence. And in Nigerian Compass, Sambo, Jonathan will defeat IBB Atiku in the north. Vice President Namadi Sambo has a strong message for those who believe that if President Goodluck Jonathan declares his intention to contest next year's presidential election, Northerners will not vote for him. The former Kaduna State Governor, who was sworn in as the number 2 citizen on Wednesday, May 19, said if his boss joins the race, he would get more votes than some aspirants who hail from the zone. 1999, 2003, 2007 elections fraudulent, says EFCC boss, is still seen in the same newspaper. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mrs. Farida Waziri, yesterday described the 1999, 2003 and 2007 elections as fraudulent, shortly after threatening to stop political office seekers who are facing corruption charges. And in business, Nigerian Tribune, court throws out sex motion against Okereke Onyike. In what was believed to be a first win on Monday, a federal high court in Lagos has thrown out a motion filed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, praying that the preliminary objection to the suit instituted by the SAC Director General of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Professor Ndi Okereke Onyike, should be heard before the substantive suit. Next newspaper, Nsukka University trains staff on Google tools. Ahead of the formal inauguration of its 3 billion naira wireless infrastructure project, lead sponsored by Google Incorporated, faculty and staff of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, commenced training last week on integrating technology in course design, teaching, and research. And in Nigerian Compass, 3 firms in race to manage $3.5 billion super grid. As the country kicks off a comprehensive reform of the power sector, 3 firms have been shortlisted to manage the country's electricity grid that will be constructed at a cost of $3.5 billion. And in sports, Nigerian Compass has the story Super Eagles reconvene for Madagascar. Smarting from the disappointment at the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa, where Nigeria left for home after failing to go past the group stage, the Super Eagles will reconvene in Abuja from today in another quest to secure a ticket to the 28th Africa Cup of Nations. And in next newspaper, Nigeria wins by the barest of margins. After the opening day loss at the ICC Africa Under-19 on Sunday to Uganda, the newly promoted team beat the Botswana team by 1 run on Monday. The Nigerian team scored 183 for 8 in 49.2 overs in total, and the young Nigerians pipped Botswana by 1 run. Punch newspaper, NFF to name Eagles coach next week. The Nigeria Football Federation has decided to delay the unveiling of a new Super Eagles coach till after the forthcoming Nations Cup qualifier between Nigeria and Madagascar. Ismaili blamed loss on Ramadan fast. Egypt's Ismaili FC on Sunday blamed their 2-1 loss to Heartland FC in their CAF Championship League tie on fatigue as a result of the Ramadan. And with these stories, we bring today's edition of the program to an end. Don't forget to log on tomorrow for yet another informative edition. Thanks for logging on.